Okay, so today we're going to be learning about the blueprint classes and what they do, and stuff like that. So, first off, to create a blueprint class, there's two ways. You can go here and do blueprint class and then all classes or whatever, and there's loads of classes. I'm just going to be talking about these ones up here. Well, some of them. And the main ones that are going to be using, and other things that you can do. So you can go, I think it's up here, and no, that's new C++ class. Maybe not. Never mind. This is a newer version, so it may not be in this one. Well, so when you go here and you create a blueprint class, so an actor, like it says here, is an object that can be placed or spawned in the world. So if you have like an item that you want to pick up or add health to your character or like all of that stuff, or an AI would be, actually no, an AI would probably be, it could be a pawn or an actor. So a pawn is like a character type thing. You can possess it, so you can control it. So if you're gonna do something that you could switch characters or something, you could have multiple pawns, and it would just be like a button, and then you'd switch over to a different type of pawn. Which that also has to go with the game mode, which we'll talk about that later. So a character is a type of pawn that, like this right here, character, so that would be your character. But if you're doing like a ball that you roll around or something like that, that'd be a pawn because you possess it. But so player controller, that's how you control the player or the pawn, or that's how you control it. Game mode, so a game mode is it like the game's rules and the stuff of like scoring and other things like that. There also is game what's it called, game state. So game state is it's like if you're doing like a multiplayer game or stuff like that, that's what the game state would be. But let's take a look at an actor. So I'm not gonna name it anything, but an actor, so an actor would be you could default scene root, you just add or mesh, it'd be a static mesh, which means it can't, it's just a mesh. And then if you, here I need to, here, I think I need to do this. Select that, static mesh, it wouldn't be that. It would just be static mesh right there. So you have that, and then if you have the starter content or something, you can do a cone, and then you got a cone, or whatever, and then you can go into event graph and do inputs, and which inputs are just or just be G or something. It'd just be the letter G, and it's just keys on the keyboard or your Xbox controller or your PS4 controller or whatever. That's just controls. But when you go and do a pawn, that could be, this is actually no, you can't do inputs on this. Never mind on this. This is pick-upable items and stuff like that, stuff that way you could do that. Now a pawn, you could add a static mesh to this and still have the same type thing, whatever. but then you just go into the event graph and you could do inputs, and this event actor overlap is like for trigger boxes and stuff, to trigger like end game or something like that, like to trigger cinematics or stuff like that, which that's further in game development. But with characters, this has that capsule thing which spawns the character, but you can do like, that's character movement, so walking, animations and stuff like that. Mesh would be like whatever you had skeletal mesh for that, like that's for like human looking characters or stuff like arms and legs and stuff like that. Now okay, game mode base is just here. Yeah, if you, when you first open it, like here you can do pawn classes and stuff, which that's just player controllers, which I haven't talked about that yet. A player control, actually no, I have talked about the player controller. Okay, so yeah, if you create a player controller and then you go in and you have it, oh, I just lost it. Like this would be like what your character is. Like if you're doing like a UI screen or something, like a start screen or something like that, like you'd have show mouse cursor and it would like show it through, like you could move around and click and stuff like that, like click things. Now, yeah, here I'm going to talk about UI now. That isn't in the blueprint classes. That is when you click down here and you go into user interface and you do a widget blueprint. So that is the UI. Like you can go in and add a button, and that you can click, and then you can go to like the graph and add, like when you click button on clicked, when you click that, it could be like open level, and that could be like your first level or something. Like that could be like a play button. But in order to do that, you need a text box right here, and you just kind of apply that to that, and then you could just go in here and be like play, and then you can where is it? It's not visibility, not down there. I just gotta find it real fast. I know you can here. Actually no, I don't want to go there. I want to go editable text box, and then where's the size? There's a size, and you can, well, I don't know exactly where it is right at the moment. There's a lot of things to remember when you're going through this, but like you can edit the size, and like when you click on it, when you press play or whatever, and you click on it, then you can it will open the level that you chose, and then stuff like that. But if you are but so over in the, yeah, so what was I going to talk about next? So I'll just go ahead and talk about materials. So a material can be used to create things. Like it's all blueprint graph, like I mean not create things, like it's the color of the landscape or stuff like that. Like you'd have a base color, which then would go into a layer blend, or it would just be a landscape if you're doing landscape layer blend. Actually, yeah, and then you go here and you add a couple elements, however many textures that you're having, and then you'd, like with the starter content, you can go in here. I'm not going to go super in depth because I will talk about this in another tutorial in depth, but that's not textures. Like textures are right here as soon as it loads in, but you can go like cobblestone, and go into my material and then input that in, and then like just that. But yeah, so, and then you can blend those together and you can do like alpha blends and stuff like that, and it's can get very complicated. But for now, that's just kind of the basic thought of it. Now, with stuff like levels, it's pretty common sense. There's animation, blueprints, stuff like paper flip book would be for like a 2D game. That's how you create your animations with frames. You just do different frames and you choose the frames per second and stuff like that, and you can use programs like Photoshop and stuff to do that. Now I think that's just about it for today, so yeah, see ya.